Hey guys, GSP from GSP Talk Sports here, and we're talking weekly MMA news coming out of UFC 328 that was just concluded over the weekend, and some real funny stories here. Also, we know Ronda Rousey and co have their MMA promotion, a lot of fights coming up on Netflix on this Saturday, so good ones to look forward to. I have to start though with in the news. Well, I would have told you guys as well that I was really disappointed in Sean Strickland and Chimaev in all the shit talk, and I got caught up with it. I believed it, and then at the end of the day, men hugging up, as I say, bouncing gloves. Chimaev putting the belt on Strickland, and Strickland was like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I apologize to all my Muslim fans. I have Muslim friends." It's like you went too far. You went too far. I agree. So this whole thing came up with there's a big role now with Hawani and Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland calling him an MMA leech. He doesn't know about fighting because he and Chimaev would have spent their time in the cage and only they could understand what they went through and stuff. But at the end of the day, I agree with Hawani because he was saying you were so fake in the build up. Everybody got caught up in thinking the beef is real. And then you come and say, no, Chimaev is really a good guy. I didn't mean what I said. He said that his hate battery is empty now, whatever it is. So until the next fight, you go in and go on a rampage talking bull crap. The kind of things you said Chimaev is a Chechnya bleep. He homophobic stuff about him and the Chechnyan leader. Said stuff about Chimaev's mother, religion, just crossing line. Chimaev saying he said he wants to shoot Chimaev. Chimaev saying that he wants to kill Sean Strickland and so on. And then you guys just kumbaya at the end. Nah, it's better to just really stick to your script. And hey, you guys hate one another thing, as I say, make up in private, but publicly, how are you going to believe you again when you are a fight? And then Chimaev too, you were supposed to be the boogeyman. You was the, I'm gonna kill everybody. And now you hugging up and putting the belt around Strickland after he insult your whole region and stuff like that. Conor, Khabib, you think them guys ever going and make up and ever going and be thing, bouncing gloves, putting belt for one another and stuff? You think John Jones and Daniel Cormier going and do that? Right? People who have real heat. You think Paulo Costa and Chimaev, if they are if I going and do that? I highly doubt it, and I hope not. So at the end of the day, I really don't like this play acting WWE thing, and then you hug up and stuff publicly after. Nah, if you're doing it, just keep it like that. Yeah, you could show respect after. Nobody ain't say nothing wrong with that, but at the end of the day, I'm glad Sean Strickland won. He deserved it. It could have gone either way, by the way. Chimaev was probably deserving as well. He was the champion. He really had to beat him to get the belt. But at the end of the day, nah. I really don't like what it is. Sean Strickland, it's no longer pay-per-view. What are you trying to sell? The fight would have been sold out anyhow you take it. So you're not trying to sell pay-per-view to say you have 2 million pay-per-view views or anything like that. So yeah, it is what it is. So coming out of that now, remember Chimaev said that he told Dana one time after the fight, he had this horrible weight cut and so on. He told Dana that he wanted to move up to the light heavyweight, the 205. And a possible contender is Costa, right? So we know they had a beef in the past. Costa apparently has called out Boris multiple times, and they were actually supposed to fight. And coming out of this now, there's an AI generated video. I have to show you guys this.
Focus on your technique.
where um, Costa and Chimaev are in a sauna room, and Costa knocks out Chimaev. Listen, it's really, really funny, right? And he's calling Chimaev the gourmet Chechnyan. So listen, you had to give it to Diego Costa for this because the man being he's really on a different level with this roasting that he's doing of Costa, and it's really great to see. So I'm looking forward to that. Then coming out of it too, Joe Rogan said so he mentioned, I should have mentioned this in my review video. Sean Strickland actually fought with an injured shoulder. So just imagine if Sean Strickland could do that with an injured shoulder, if he was actually fit, right? And that's to tell you about the kind of guy that Sean Strickland is, because and I think a normal person would have pulled out. And Sean Strickland was like, I think he tore ligament in his shoulder or something. And yeah, he didn't call off the fight. He fought with this torn shoulder, and yeah, just jabbed Jemai after that and won the fight, right? So really something else. Josh Hockett. Now, Josh Hockett, I don't know what you think about this guy. He really, in my opinion, Sean Crazy Man Strickland as well thinks that Josh Hockett takes it too far. And I probably want to agree with that, although Sean Strickland takes it on another level too. So Josh Hockett goes into character, and we know that he had the recent he got put off stage at the UFC 250 event where he just went on a rampage against Ilia Topuria, against Alex Pereira. And he said that he was disappointed that his fellow American, Sean O'Malley, didn't stand up with him and like defend America and stuff like that. So he's saying that Sean O'Malley will regret not doing anything on stage. So left to be seen what was going on with that. Sean O'Malley was just like probably minding his own business and stuff. Ronda Rousey, she has some big plans after this fight with Gina Carano. She one of the things she's talking about is fan matchmaking, no titles, and well, obviously more money and stuff like that, and other radical changes as she looks to become the next Dana White. She's talking about injury, I guess, protection, pension for the fighters, and so on. So definitely something to look forward to if she gets her way. And because of Ariel Hawani talking about how Sean Strickland he should not have apologized. He should not have did what he did after. Sean Strickland went on a whole rampage about, how Alwani is, as I said, I'm a MMA leech. He doesn't give interviews to him. And yeah, he just went on a whole rant. So Sean Strickland, I mean, leave Alwani alone. The man gave you a whole set of praise saying glad they won, thing, fought with the one shoulder and stuff. And then you're attacking the man for him say exactly my thoughts, and I'm sure a lot of people thought that if you go to insult a man like that and then say, oh, it was just a silly fight, nah, that's bullcrap, because we want to get involved in it, but not with, hoodwinking us. So let's not do that, okay? Moving on to, right, so Chimaev initially talked about moving up to the light heavyweight division, and now he's talking about staying at the 185, and he wants an immediate rematch with Sean Strickland. So they kissed and made up, and now Chimaev is saying he wants to run it back. He wants to get back that opportunity to beat Sean Strickland. Remember, Sean Strickland would have taken his O as well, so he's 15-1 now. Sean Strickland fired back and was like, nah, you go and fight some more fights and then come back and we'll talk about it and so on. Getting into this one time, Chimaev's brother would have mentioned that during the weight cut, because I said I don't think Chimaev made weight, right? During the weight cut, they actually had to stop the weight cut for an hour because his body was shutting down and he had to lose 1.2 kilograms again. That is what they said. And there's no way that he was doing it. And we all saw what happened on the scale, bouncing 3 seconds. Yeah, he made weight and you're off. He didn't make weight. So I mean, he couldn't make 170. Obviously, that would have been a bigger weight cut for him. You're basically at the 185, which is probably the best for your body type. And you want to move up to 205, just not to cut weight. Because rumor has it that he was thinking he's going to fight Yuri Praska. We saw Yuri Praska fought Olberg. And yeah, that was what, 2 months ago, whatever. You know that you wasn't getting any fight with Yuri Praska. You had to defend your title. So you had 2 months. It was rumored that he was walking around at 231, right? So you had to cut that 15 and 31, 46 pounds. You had the 2 months. Now, they are saying that he went in, I think it was the week before at 212. So you only cut from your 231 to 212, right? And then you want to cut additional 12 plus 15 pounds, that's 29 pounds in 2 weeks. I mean, that not really making sense what they end up doing there. So how are you even going on come back now to 185, make a weight, and you want to challenge Sean? I mean, it was a close fight. I guess you have a point. So would I want to see the trash talking knowing that is fake? I doubt I'll want to see it again. Dana White saying I highly doubt we have a new and improved Sean Strickland after the UFC one, UFC 228. He apologized and so on. He doubt it's going to hold because next time Sean Strickland is going to be doing the same thing. Yeah, so the undefeated fighters right now, we have Hockett is actually 9-0. We have Evolov is 20-0. Ilya Tapori is 17-0. Michael Morales 19-0. So they are the only undefeated fighters now. Murzakanov, he lost his O earlier this year. Chimaev recently lost his, and Jerome Murphy lost his as well. So a lot of guys losing their O this year. Ronda Rousey and Carano broadcast team. It includes John Jones and Cain Velasquez. Some good commentators there for their upcoming fight. The back and forth between Sean Strickland and Chimaev keeps on going on. Sean Strickland reacts to Josh Hockett, by the way, and says, "You ain't gotta be the Mexican Jedi anymore. You know, you already did what you had to do." So, I mean, Hockett is seems like a crazy man, and it seems like it's working for him. So, it is what it is there. Daniel Cormier is saying that Sean Strickland made a mistake and it stopped him from beating Chimaev more easily. And I want to agree with Cormier here in terms of in the third round, Sean Strickland kind of took his foot off the gas a bit. And if he would have kind of pushed, he could have probably, you never know, finished Chimaev because Chimaev was kind of out of it and he ended up kind of catching his second win in the fourth round. Probably that's something he had to look at. But I mean, again, to this point too, he had a blown out shoulder, so he was fighting with one shoulder. And also, I didn't even know. So remember, I was telling you guys that Van, I didn't want him to win. I wanted Tyra to win because Van had won the title against Pantoja by a freak accident. But I mean, looking at the overall picture now, Van, I didn't even know he's 24 years old. He has only been training MMA for 5 years. So Van has only been training MMA for 5 years and comes and becomes the world champion, second youngest after John Jones. I mean, that is something real commendable. And his boxing is really good. He looks like a good, well-rounded fighter. I mean, it definitely will be tested against Pantoja with the takedowns and what could be happening there. But yeah, kudos to Van. I mean, still Tyra is my boy, but yeah. Continuing with other MMA news, Ronda Rousey said she's happy to be Gina Carano's comeback story. So she's prepared to get beaten, right? For Gina Carano to basically, yeah, stage her comeback story. She's a fan of Gina Carano. So friendly kind of rivalry there, right? Ronda is also talking about their fight should smash the pay record for women's MMA, or women's combat sports. And that will actually be a good thing because she spoke about, well, she being, I guess, one of the privileged few in UFC time, she would have gotten, I think it was 3 million for her last fight. You know, she would have um, lost Amanda Nunes, but she would have gotten 3 million. That's a lot at that point in time because that was since 2016. So now they didn't put a figure as to how much they will be getting for this one, but if they're going to smash that record, it will only be good for the rest of women. Coming up, they will have an avenue to fight on Netflix for more money if they're not so concerned about titles and so on. GSP coach Faris Zahabi, he has reached out to Khamzat Chimaev to come over to TriStar to train with him and GSP. And he's saying that he's publicly recruiting Chimaev and Aman Sarukian to TriStar. And he's saying that once Chimaev is in TriStar, that he could guarantee that he's going to win back his title. So let's see how that one goes. Chimaev to TriStar, yeah. And then we have Mr. Khabib came out and said that he always wondered what's the point of rounds, and he'd get rid of rounds, no rounds at all. Just step in and ice it until fight finish. Of course, a man like Khabib would say that because he's a wrestler, like master grappler. So if he gets somebody to the ground, he wouldn't want at the end of a round, a 5-minute period or whatever, that the person going and get up and the fight going and stand back on the feet, start back on the feet, and possibly, there's chance of him getting knocked out or anything like that. So he's saying, yeah, done away with all rounds, just have, an open fight, no rounds. What's your thoughts on that one? Do you agree that combat sports fight should be no rounds, just fight to the finish? Let us know. Let us know any comments what you think about that. Because we know that is how it would be, how it was in the early days, and now, I mean, I kind of could see both sides of the story in terms of having rounds, giving the strikers a chance at the end of the 5-minute period if they were being controlled on the ground. And I can see it from the wrestlers' point of view, or the jiu-jitsu men point of view, that hey, they work hard to take it down and keep it down, and they will want the fight to continue there until they possibly could get a finish or so on. So I can see both sides. Let us know what you guys think. Basically, that rounds up the MMA news for this week. I say a big card coming up this weekend with Ronda Rousey and co. Nate Diaz and Mike Perry. Some just big fights. I don't know if you think like these are washed up fights now, or what are your thoughts on the fights coming up, especially like Gina Carano hasn't fought in over 10 years and so on. Ngannou back. I mean, listen, I might just watch it. Yeah, I'll watch it. And yeah, the UFC is kind of a fight card, but I know the Arnold Allen and the Costa, that's one to look forward to. A couple of the fights end up falling out and so on. So yeah, JSP on JSP Talk Sports MMA news for this week. Let us know what do you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe.